Good evening.
Good evening. How you keeping?
Not too bad.
Good,
You,
good.
you've got Glen Scotia's.
I've got the Glen Scotia limited edition Campbelltown Malts Festival 2022 bottling.
How'd you manage to do that? Because I signed up and I never heard anything.
No, not you signed up for the big 47-year-old thing. I signed up for the sort of bargain basement bottling, and chuffing lovely it is too. I had a wee drink out of it the other day. And the only problem is I've had a cold all week, Justin. I've managed to avoid COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But I caught a cold, or it could possibly be a very mild flu, but I felt a bit shitty all week. So this is not doing the best. I'm not getting as much of that as I probably should do. I tried it earlier on.
But we know it's not COVID because you've checked that out.
Yes, I am COVID free. I am not plague ridden or any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've but sanitised, mask and all that. Caper, still end up with the cold or the flu, which has been sort of miserable. You can hear it in my voice.
Well, I should have built this tonight as the alternative to Eurovision, and then we would have got everybody from the Ku Klux Klan tuning in.
Put it like this: if anybody's watching that has never seen Eurovision, it's mental, absolutely bonkers. Always has been, always will be. And basically, it's words sort of fail to describe it. That's the truth. You don't have to be in Europe. You don't have to have any real talent, I don't think. And basically, you vote for. I would imagine Ukraine's a shoe-in tonight. I would have thought.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought.
Might be, but then again, nobody can vote for Russia tonight from Eastern Europe, so they used to do unusually well. Yeah, it's strange because it used to be a real talent fest. It used to be a real indicator of international global talent, and let's face it, ABBA was on it. ABBA was on it. Need I say more?
That's one. Who? Sandy Shaw, like a puppet on a string.
She's pretty good.
It's crap.
Aha, was on it. They weren't too bad.
And you call yourself a DJ? Bloody awful.
I just read off the screen, just like here. I just read off the screen. That is a beautiful drop. Evening all. Good evening all. Hi everyone. Evening lads. Hi everyone. That's what I read. I read off the screen.
Good man.
That's the secret to success in broadcast.
That's really nice. But to be fair, Glen Scotia always gets overshadowed by Springbank. And you see the truth. The truth of the matter is it's probably a better drink. That's. But people will go, it's not as authentic as Springbank. But the truth of the matter is it's probably a better drink all round. If I'm honest, it's lovely stuff.
Explain to me how that works, because that label doesn't look the most desiring to me. The bottle looks like a standard generic old type bottle. Explain that one to me.
Nah, to be fair, the label's not great. It's a bit sort of plasticky, but they make really, really good spirit. They really, really, really do, and it's well worth getting your hands on Glen Scotia. And listen, Connor's just pulled up Victoriana. You see, if you haven't bought a bottle of Victoriana, go and get one. I've had 2 bottles of it, and I've just nailed them in no time because they're so good. But that's what we're going to do later on in the show. If you've got a whiskey collection, do me a favour. We're going to do the news. We're going to do the interview that we've pre-recorded during the week. But if you've got a whiskey collection, think of the rubbish you have in it, because I've come up with a theory, and we'll talk about it later on. All right, so we'll do that later on, and the rubbish you have in your whiskey collection.
In 2,000 years' time, is this going to be Macaulay's memorandum on whiskey?
No,
it's going to be like Pareto's theorem or Pythagoras's or something like that. There,
that'll be it. My name will go down in history.
So this show tonight after the news isn't going to be a sort of mixture bottle. You're going to do this is.
I have a theory. Right, we'll get to that later on, because Justin has no idea what I'm talking about, because I didn't know what we're doing on the show until about 2 hours ago. I've been working all week. Look, come on, here's the briefing notes from the production meeting. I've got them here in front of me. Look. What are you trying to say? This show's heavily planned. Oh, yeah.
This has to go through network control in Burbank, California before it goes out.
We'll put it like this. I'm going to make an appeal. Me and Justin have been working away, doing the tours, I'm going to make an appeal. If you are obnoxious, rude, don't listen to anything anybody tells you. Ignorant, aggressive. If you fancy a holiday, go somewhere else. don't bother coming to visit us. I had a guy this week who reported me in writing because he wasn't on my tour. What happened was he missed his bus. Him and the wife missed the bus back to the cruise ship. And I saw them wandering about like lost sheep. And I said to them, "Can I help you?" "Oh, yeah, dead on." And I said, "Oh, look, here's the things away. I'll phone." And I phoned and said, "Oh," picked all these two guys up, I'll take them back to the ship on my bus. And when he got there, he reported me because I didn't do a tour of Belfast for him. The fact that everybody else on the bus had already done theirs, and his bus, he missed the thing because he was too busy thinking about round Titanic. But no, unreal. So if you're rude and obnoxious, probably best to go maybe somewhere like Paris. Not to cast aspersions on Parisians because I do like them, but they do have a certain way about them.
Yeah, they can make the ground open up and swallow you. Yeah.
Well, put it like this, even lots of French people would tell you that Parisians tend to be a bit rude.
I know. I'm not actually on the whiskey tonight. I'm on a drink I first had in Paris. Look at that there. Desperados. It's got tequila, and I always liked it.
I don't think it's too bad either. It's refreshing enough, I had a Coors Light there. Over I stopped off. I see a mate of mine's just back from Kenya, and I stopped off over with I'm on the way earlier on. Had a wee Coors Light, and it's beautiful sunny down there. Nice, cool beer.
It's always sunny in Kenya. It's always sunny in Kenya.
We're not Kenyan anymore.
All right.
Justin, an Eagles fan. No, that would mean having taste in music, Connor.
No, Connor, I would have to read off the screen and it would say, "Justin, tell everyone you're an Eagles fan." And I would go, "I'm an Eagles fan. But really, all I like is easy listening. So if it's easy listening, i.e. Neil Diamond, I like it. Apart from that, I don't."
But like this, just as a big Barry White fan, let's get it on.
The Walrus of Love.
The Walrus of Love.
What are people saying tonight? On coffee here tonight. Have to pick up the daughter from the Isle of Man ferry tonight. Oh, the steam packet. Was she away on a wee holiday? Very nice. Oh, Mark, were you looking after the Wayne for an entire week, or was the Wayne away with them on holiday? Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Connor Winders. My first Desperados was in the Piss and Lords when I was 16. Good times.
Found a miracle cure. Miracle cure was discovered, Connor.
Yeah, this is a miracle cure. This refreshes the parts other parts don't. Yes.
Yeah. I remember someone telling me they went to Lourdes and bought themselves a Our Lady of Lourdes flick knife. They brought it back. As you do.
No, I've got to tell you this story, and don't think this is anti-Catholic or anything like that there, but a friend of mine does a lot of wedding videos, so I spend a lot of time in Catholic churches, and I remember seeing this advert on the notice board. It says, "The Pope says, don't do this, don't do that, and don't visit Lourdes," and on the other side of the notice board was, "Join us in a month's time for our trip to Lourdes," and I went, okay, there's nothing going on there then, is there? Yeah. I know.
Imagine one of the churches being a bit hypocritical. Never would happen. Unreal. There's Don, and he's Don, young Don McKeown. He's horny in the back teeth. That must be after Liverpool winning there tonight. He's a big Liverpool fan. He loves the Scousers.
I think you were down at you were reporting from Balmoral show this week, actually. He was. I'm not a great fan of Balmoral show because it's a bit much. Absolutely towering. Let me see. What does it say? Glen Scotia Victoriana, you're recommending 54%?
Yeah, it's for if I remember correct. Yeah, it's 54%. I know it's in and around that if it's not.
But you put a wee drop of water in to open it up, don't you? Yes.
Yeah, well, that one there. This is a PX finish, which normally I'm not that keen on. Because I think it's just that sometimes
peated PX does that work?
But listen, in Scotia it works. Definitely does. It's that's this year's 56.5%. Yeah, lovely, lovely stuff.
There we go. Shall I hit the button? Shall I hit the button? Hit the button. Hit the button. Here we go.
Now, some new releases this week, and I think Frank has got himself a bottle already. McConnell's. Remember last week we were talking to Sarah, and she told us that new McConnell's was coming. Well, it's been unleashed on the suspecting customers, and it is
5-year-old. Yes,
5-year-old. First fill bourbon finished in Oloroso sherry at 46%, non-chill filtered. We like McConnell's. We like the styling of it. It looks sharp. There's no two ways about it. It's very authentic. And the blend, ain't much wrong with that, to be honest. Reasonably priced. It's not like.
You tried that one yet? No,
I haven't got my hands on any of that. Yeah. Tasting notes for it says it's nutmeg, cinnamon, little hint of leather. We like that because it's not sweet. This is what we like. Don't over sweeten things. Dark ripe cherries, rich red apples, finish oak notes, subtle clove spice. This is the kind of thing I like. I like that kind of thing because they're not putting all the PX in, not trying to sweeten. They've got that sort of nice rounded thing. So I'm going to try it yet. I'll have to get picked up, but I'll tell you, all will be revealed a wee bit later on. What
money was on that? She did mention it was going to be affordable, didn't she? Yeah.
I read.
Was it 35 or am I wrong? Connor, what did you pay for it?
I remember reading, was it 35 or 40, something like that?
Okay.
I think it was in and around that, which for Irish whiskey these days, I mean, Jesus.
5-year-old's good, yeah, because the raw spirt's way through the roof again, isn't it?
Well, any age, the Irish spirit, they're sort of up through the roof over the last while. But I mean, it's they're bringing out good quality age statement, which is nice. We prefer that. At reasonable price, nice cast finishing. I haven't got to try it, but I'll just take people's word for it if they're telling me it's good.
55 euros, so it must be around the 45 quid mark.
45 quid mark up here. So very affordable. This is one that caught my eye too. Kilbeggan have brought out a age statement 11-year-old. Now it's only going to be available at Dublin Airport. It's a single malt, 40% bourbon cask finished in muscatel wine casks. Now, Kilbeggan's never really twigged on. People have never really embraced it and loved it, but they've got all the heritage. They've one of the oldest stills in the world that it goes through, but it's never really twigged on. Now, the fact that they brought this out, I think it's maybe because it was a bit confused. It started as a Cooley or is it some stuff down in Kilbeggan and whatnot. So this having that age statement on it and it being a single malt, who knows, this might garner some fans. I'd like to try that too because, well, I think they have a lot of potential. It just hasn't really been realised over the past while.
Presentation on that looks very strong as well, I thought.
Yeah. Well, purple and gold works kind of well.
Now let's see. If you're watching tonight, remember to comment, like, and share. Hit us up on YouTube as well. Hit subscribe. We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Twitch. We're on Telegram. I got 2 new of the Japanese M&Ms coming in. Wife would kill me if I got the deer one. Right?
Yeah. Your wife wouldn't kill you if you flip it in about a year's time and get maybe half as much again or maybe twice as much. It's good man. I hope they work out. But I'll think about that. All right, Michael, great value cask strength for 75-80 euro.
Yeah.
You take your hat off to the guys that are bringing out stuff in and around that price because so much of it's got so expensive. So much. Anyway, right. Tasting notes for the Kilbeggan. Honeysuckle citrus, warming on the tongue peach, and a slight fizziness, warm finish, spice notes. So that could be a nice wee revelation bottle. I don't think it's all that terribly expensive either. So it might be worth picking a bottle of that if you're going through Dublin Airport. And then everybody's plucky little favourite distillery knocks it out of the park once again. Killowen have three.
Listen, funny enough, a guy at Fintru, the financial communications people, were chatting to me the other night, and they were saying, did I know Brenton and all the rest of it? And I says, I did. He broke one of my microphones. I'll never forget him. Yeah.
Now, they brought out 3 firkins. Now, firkins would be wee cask. That's on sale. I take that off. And one's Molly McCabe's. The other one is the Curry out in Killarney. This is where these individual firkins are being sold. And the other one's a whiskey club in South Africa. Now, if you're a boer, please, I don't mean boring. If you're a boer from South Africa, and I mispronounce this, please don't go nuts. Vilking Kalore, the whiskey club, and they have a bottle too. So they're sending a small single cask to South Africa. You know, you just have to say, you know, God, they do some great stuff. You know, they're doing amazing stuff for such a tiny place. They just are.
How does he actually manage to do it?
You know why? It's because people buy into passion. That's why Gordon Ramsay does all the stuff that he does, because he's passionate about it. You know, and passion and intelligence will always conquer most things. You know. So yeah, those are new Irish whiskey releases this week. There's probably about 47 new distilleries been announced, but I can't really be bothered.
The Cologne, the design, it's unmistakably Cologne. The bottles,
it's just
very simple. The labels are very simple,
yeah.
But they're all distinctive from each other as well.
But you do miss whenever you had the black marker. Whenever you got these, tell enough, you're not allowed to do that. The black marker out. Black markered out everything. Those were funny. Those were the funny balls. The originals. Right, new whiskies, new distilleries, new distillery for Islay, or as I heard the tour guide saying the other day, Islay. Yeah, that's Islay over there. And had it in front of his face. No, it's Islay actually. No, it's Islay. And he tried to spell it to me as if it was thick. Anyway, so this is Elixir Distillers are opening a new distillery down south of the island, down near Port Ellen.
Near the town, yeah.
Yeah, Port na Trúin is what it's going to be called. Now, I like this because there was a couple of interesting things about it, a couple of really nice things. They're going to malt on site, and it's going to be direct fired stills, which is we like that. I kind of like that because it works.
It's not a small looking distillery. That looks substantial.
Yeah, well, this is what's going to be there. Port Ellen will visitors centre, bar, restaurant, a bothy tasting room, educational facility, and this is the bit that really pricked my interest. They're going to build 14 houses for the people working in the distillery. Now, is that not a nice thing to be doing? Do you remember
that's like Cadbury's did that, and Port Sunlight did that, and
Bourneville and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
remember whenever employers used to employ people and they built them houses and they done all nice things and set them up, the job, house, all that. Yeah, they'd be congratulated for doing that kind of thing. Don't know what the rent's going to be because maybe they'll fleece the life out of them in the rent and cut off all transport links and make them buy everything from the shop like the pit miners used to.
Do you think if I applied for social media on that Renegade Rum distillery in the Caribbean that I would get bought a cabana there and be able to, swan about there while social media? No?
Yeah, your wee grass skirt or something on that. That would be a big draw for the tourists.
It would be.
Yeah. Now, funny enough, you mentioned rum because they're going to make rum in Islay. Yeah, and they've got an experimental still going on it too. So it's going to be sort of two stills and two, albeit big still, wee still. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting enough. So it is, yeah.
Looks good. Definitely looks good indeed.
Yeah.
What's next tonight?
There's no thing for this, but Dalmore also have submitted plans for a new visitor centre and distillery as well. So the big one is obviously you have to go to the States for everything's bigger. Jim Beam have had a grand reopening in Claremont, in Kentucky, and they spent $45 million on the new distillery, on a new upgrade and so on. So it's open for tours again. And the range of tours is including, now this is something a bit special, okay? A 4-hour tour, VIP tour, hosted by not one, but 2 master distillers. So Fred and Freddie No, his son, because Freddie No has just been announced as a co-master distiller of the thing, where, just let me get this right, because there's a whole lot to this. now if you happen to be in the area, so let me see. You get them personally. The experience features insider VIP tour of the entire Beamed family distillery and unique behind-the-scenes experience, storytelling and guided tasting by the master distillers, and features some of our most limited edition bourbons and latest new releases. Private Kentucky-inspired meal from the kitchen table featuring Beam family cocktails and one-of-a-kind recipes made with local ingredients. Do you know how much that is? Now, bear in mind, Freddie knows a legend in bourbon. I mean, a legend. And his son's coming up on his heels. The price of that is, just let me get this right, $250. Now, consider that a minute. There's loads of people going and spending £200, €200 on reasonable whiskey. Not fantastic whiskey, but reasonable whiskies. And yet, you can go and spend 4 hours with bourbon royalty, get your dinner, get your seat behind the scenes exit. Personally, I think that's a bargain.
I spent more than £200 in my dinner before.
Just that I've been there when you spent more than £200.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Yeah.
Yes.
So here, listen. Frank Hearn is saying he was at Balmoral show yesterday and he bought a couple of bottles of very tasty apple rum. Mm-hmm.
Surely apple brandy.
No, it's definitely typed in rum.
Yeah, I see that, but
yeah. How does that work?
We'd have to see what that's like. So who was producing that, Frank? I'll be interested to know. But I thought $250. It's £200. It's nothing, and they've got loads of dates for it. It's not like, there's
it's exclusive and you can't go.
6, 7, 8. The dates all the way through to November. So if anybody's heading over Kentucky direction, if you get a chance of going to one of those, I mean, you would snap up one of them, But it goes to show you some of the visitor experiences that people are getting when you get totally exclusive access to these two, totally exclusive access to really rare casks, trip around the whole thing, your dinner, and get a chat to these guys for a couple £100. A bargain, absolute bargain.
Sounds good.
That's what I would have thought. Now, probably one of the big news stories, we didn't cover it over the last couple of weeks, it was sent to the Distilled Spirits Council of the US, the Distilled Spirits Council of the US and the American Single Malt Whiskey Commission sent a petition or a letter to the Trade Bureau, Tax and Trade Bureau. See all these acronyms and stuff, they always do my head on. Anyway, and they're asking to have recognised American single malt. Okay. Now, as they say in the letter, Scotch has had this for a long time. I mean, obviously, Ireland now has it as well. So they want American single malt to be recognised. I can't say it's probably about time. They represent 100-ish, if memory serves, distillers. But that's a tiny fraction of the whiskey distillers. I know some of them are tiny, but some of them ain't tiny at all. Some of them big operations. So American single malt as a brand, why not? And they think it'll give them certain legal protections and standing in the whiskey world. I remember someone told me recently that the whiskey distillery count now in the US is heading towards, if not past it by now, 2,500 whiskey distilleries.
Wow.
Some of them are tiny. I mean, our friends over at the Sun City distillery aren't big, but they're still producing a reasonable amount of volume. Certainly certainly if you take it in comparison to the likes of Cologne, they're certainly as big as Cologne. To be fair, I boiled the kettle one time and it was nearly the same size as Cologne's distillery. But you know what I mean? So there's thousands of these happening over there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. They probably will, I would imagine. Why wouldn't they? In order, by the way, to get you recognised as a standard of identity for distilled spirits, that's what they're looking.
Yeah,
it has to be done through the Tax and Trade Bureau. You have to make an application so that it meets their criteria in order for you to trade, which brings me on to the next story. any whiskey that's going to be sold, they have to put it through this to get the labelling inspected to make sure it meets all the criteria. And that's open for public viewing. So Glenmorangie, for obviously in Scotland with the big tall stills, I've put this up. Now, pull that up onto full screen for me there, Justin, a wee minute. This is a Highland single malt whiskey crafted from barley kilned with woodland botanicals.
It's gin.
Well, it's not a gin, but the tasting notes for it are, it's all juniper and birch bark and heather blossom. That's
Sounds like a gin.
yeah. And now we've had, obviously, peat is the one that we're used to drying barley with to give it flavour. We've had sheep dung whiskey, flavour, and we've had
Peanut.
No, that's a flavouring. We've had mesquite. We've had a few different things, different woods and stuff. But does anybody think this is maybe just crossing the line a little bit? Surely you want a whiskey to taste like a whiskey and a gin to taste like a gin. Do you know what I mean? How are you going to cask finish that? Is it going to be? I don't know. Maybe people think, oh, it'd be worth trying. But personally, I can't see how that's going to work. I don't see that selling in massive volumes.
I bet it surprises you.
Well, I mean, Glenmorangie they sell a lot of stuff, so possibly stick a huge budget in it and up it pops. But I don't know. For me, it's maybe just crossing the line. It's trying to blur the line between the two. And apparently, yeah.
Yeah, Vic's asking, does it comply with Scotch whisky regs?
Apparently so, yeah. So it just seems a bit defeatist, nearly is how the best way I would put it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, oh, we can't get these people to drink whiskey. How do we do it? Oh, we'll make it taste like gin. But whiskey's whiskey and gin's gin. It's about like whenever people used to say, oh, I love drinking vodka and Red Bull because you can't taste the vodka in it. Well, don't drink vodka. There's a million other drinks to take. If you don't like vodka, don't drink it.
Don't like Red Bull at all. Don't like Red Bull at all. Awful.
Yeah, it's a pre-mixed cocktail, but it's not, Peter. It's at 45% ABV as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, to me it sort of crosses a line. It's a bit defeatist, if I'm honest. So yeah, but anyway, that's the end of the news.
I don't know. You sailed yourself this week. The news just gets better and better. I don't know where you find all the stuff, but anyway, if you follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitch, Telegram,
That's lovely.
LinkedIn as well. I usually post a lot of these stories up as the week goes forward, and you can read them in depth yourself if you're really into them, because some of them are quite involved and ingenious. They really are. Some of the stories, I don't know. For a finite industry, there's so many facets to whiskey. I cannot believe it.
Well, the thing about it is there's so much heritage and history with it. There's so much sort of science. There's so much taste and enjoyment. And there's good old going and getting pissed with your mates. That is so underrated at times, where you just go and say, some bollocks, we're going on a Friday night getting...
But in 2 years, we haven't repeated a show.
No, we don't. Well, why would we?
No, but the BBC and ITV do strategic repeats. We could do one about the Angel Share again, because 2 years later, the Angel Share might have changed. The angels might have defected and became an archangel.
No. So there's miles more stuff to do. I've bought a book Monday, and I have it down here. I have it. It's been no use to me all week because I've been loaded with a cold.
Let's have a look. What's this book?
The nose knows.
What the nose
knows. The science of... But see, because it's something that's a bit hard to understand at times. And I read through this a little bit. It hasn't really been much use to me this week. But, I mean, this is one of the things. You can pick up any aspect of whiskey and run with it. And find out, do I like this? Do I not like that? Whatever. And that's the joy of the whole thing. And it's kind of hard to understand you can do that with any other drink, really, if I'm honest.
No, you certainly can't. I don't think so. So if you follow us, make sure you follow us on YouTube. Hit subscribe. It's free. Remember, we're on all the major podcast platforms. You have sort of Anchor and Spotify are the main ones. So if you ask Alexa or Google to play Irish Whiskey Review Podcast, we will pop up. We will pop up.
God, Lois. Yeah. Now, during the week, we caught up with the Beard himself. He's like ZZ Top's adopted son. He's, we all know who he is. It's Joe McGowan, he of the illustrious Beard, because they're doing a series of events to celebrate World Whisky Day. Now, some of these have happened already, some are sold out and stuff, but we caught up with Joe, and it was a pleasure to talk to him again. I haven't spoken to him for a while.
Look at this, because it looks like there's food involved in this, Marty. There's definitely food involved in this one. Joe, is there food involved in this one?
There's food, there's whiskey, there's beer, there's chocolate, there's all sorts going on.
Chocolate, my favorite.
You know that film, Jerry Maguire. You had me at food. That's Justin. As soon as you say the word food, Justin, his wee ears prick up. It's like bat fang. Yeah, Joe, how are you, sir? Haven't spoke for a while.
Yeah, no, it has been a while. Definitely, it's been ages. Yeah, keeping very well. Back at it, back out on the road, back talking about whiskey, doing events. So yeah, very busy, but very glad to be back.
Yeah, aren't we all? Everything's starting to open up, and normalcy has sort of come back. There's green shoots of recovery is probably the way they would put it on the news, you know. So you're out in events, and you now have an actual dedicated series, Par X, celebrating World Whisky Day 2022, and you're out and about with food and drink and chocolate and all manner of stuff. Right, fill us in. What's going on?
Yeah, so obviously you guys will be very well familiar with World Whisky Day. So most important holiday of the year, obviously. We've been celebrating World Whisky Day with Pars for probably 4 or 5 years now. It's just a great time of the year for us to be talking about whiskey and talking about Pars and getting out and activating. So this year, what we've decided to do is run a series of in-person events, partnering up with local artisan producers. So I suppose the start of this, or a lot of these relationships, actually came out of some of the stuff that we would have been doing in lockdown. So when we were in proper lockdown and you couldn't do anything, you couldn't go to the pub, and there was a real appetite for people to have some kind of experience at home that they could dial into remotely. So we started to get in touch with different producers around Northern Ireland, with the idea of doing kind of remote events. So, for example, Mike's Fancy Cheese, we would have partnered up with Mike to do an at-home whiskey and cheese experience.
Yeah.
We would have partnered up with Justin Wood, Mark Justin, to do like a woodcraft and whiskey experience. So we built up these relationships, and then obviously things are in a much better position now. The trade is back open, so we thought, well, this is a great excuse for us to actually, relaunch these events, do them in person, and actually add a few additional ones on there. So yeah, we've got a series of different events featuring Pars whiskey and different producers running through the whole month of May.
And they're all local to Northern Ireland?
They are, yeah. So all local, and all Northern Ireland.
Now, we're filming this Wednesday during the week. Obviously, this isn't live. So you've one tonight, and it's coffee. It's Irish coffee. I've tasted your Irish coffees, and I have to say they're bloody good. They are really good.
I think if I couldn't make an Irish coffee, a good Irish coffee, I'd be out of a job. Tonight's the first one, really. So what I'm going to be doing is doing an event with Stephen Houston, a friend of mine, who's just opened his own business called Lucid Coffee Roasters. So Stephen, I've been working with for a number of years. He previously would have been a roaster for Bailey's. He's now ventured off on his own. So what we're going to be doing is doing a intimate whiskey and coffee event. It's going to be in Napoleon Coffee Shop in the Ormeau Baths. But the idea behind it is it's not just about Irish coffees. It's kind of about exploring the relationship between whiskey and coffee. So I don't know if you guys would be coffee drinkers or coffee fans. We are.
We are.
It seems most people are these days. But yeah, what we noticed a few years ago is there's a real synergy between whiskey and coffee drinkers, and they approach, coffee drinkers approach coffee the same way whiskey drinkers approach whiskey. It's about flavor and mouthfeel and finish, and people have a real, they're really interested in the production process behind it. And if you ever go to a coffee tasting or cupping, bit of a funny term, but that's what they call it. It's similar to a whiskey tasting. So the idea is Stephen is going to be presenting some of his own coffees, and we're going to do a tasting of those. I'm going to be doing a bit of a tasting of obviously the core Par range, and then of course you couldn't do whiskey and coffee without an Irish coffee at some stage.
You would. Yeah, I think there's a law against that somewhere. On the old statute book, there's a law against coffee not putting cream in it and mixing it up. So that's the first of them. You have, is there 8 in total? How many did you say?
Yeah. Off the top of my head, 8. So we're doing another one then tomorrow night with Justin Wood. Mark Justin is a kind of wood crafter. We've done some great work with him for Powers. He's created some beautiful installations for us, using old barrels, old Powers barrels, restoring them and creating displays. So we're going to be taking a group of people to his workshop, where he's going to be doing some a bit of like a demo, and we're going to actually do a little bit of crafting as well. So we're going to be creating something people can take home with them, and talking a little bit about the Powers range as well. Obviously, there's a really deep connection between whiskey and wood, being so crucial to the maturation process. Whenever we spoke to Mark the first time about this, like he immediately, it resonated with him. Obviously, he works so closely with wood, so there was just a natural relationship there. So yeah, just another natural connection between whiskey and wood.
But there's loads of events running all the way up until World Whiskey Day on the 21st of May. Then. Yeah.
So we've got Mark tomorrow. We're doing another one then on Saturday. We're going to be visiting Nearynogs, so a local chocolate business. Based out in
look at his face. Look at his face.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one as well. So yeah, that one again. When we talk about whiskey and food, whiskey and chocolate is often one of the first things that comes to mind, and like I'm sure you guys know yourself, like it's a combination that's hard to beat.
It is.
So Nearynogs then, they're a chocolate business. So they make artisan, very premium chocolate. So the idea is we're going to get down there and do a bit of a tour. So they're going to actually show us the site, which will be great, for everybody who's coming, but it'll also be great for me because I know next to nothing about, how chocolate is really produced. So it's a great learning experience.
Well, you do know that milk chocolate was invented by a guy from County Down. You know that?
Didn't know that.
Hans Sloane invented it. It's not a very nice story because he invented it while he was over in the Caribbean. But Hans Sloane was from where was it? He's from Kilkeel.
Kellylay. And it was Sloane Square in London's named after him, believe it or not, so.
And he sold the recipe to the Cadbury brothers.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they seem to have done better out of the whole thing than he did.
Yeah, I've never heard of him. No, I've heard of those Cadbury boys.
Oh, he got knighted. He got knighted. He got knighted.
No, right. Now there's another one. Dinner in the Deer's Head. So explain. Tell us.
The Deer's Head. Well, most of these are with local artisan producers, but we really wanted to do something which was like a whiskey and food experience. So, the Deer's Head was a natural choice. So I don't know if you've been in the Deer's Head, but it was being the Deer's Head, and then it was the Berliner, and it's been all kinds of bars. It's returned to being the Deer's Head now, and over the last year or so, the guys have done a tremendous amount of work to just turn that into a fantastic bar. Like, aside from the brewery inside making their own beer, they have an absolutely phenomenal selection of Irish whiskies of all sorts, and then they've got the cocktail bar upstairs, the Angel and Two Bibles. So really, really amazing spot. But they've got a great chef in there. So what we're going to be doing for that event is pairing some really lovely foods with some of the Powers whiskies as well. So that'll be like a collaborative event. I always love doing whiskey and food events because it seems with a lot of these events, it really is a collaboration. Like I can come to a chef and say, here's what I think, and then they'll say, oh, here's what I think will work. And 9 times out of 10, like the combinations, the pairings they come up with are fantastic. So that should be a really good one. I think there are still a few tickets available for that, but it is selling out pretty fast.
So if anyone's wanting to get onto it quick, going forward, I just have to say this, going forward, are you going to be doing more of that? Now that we're opened up, is there going to be, can we expect more of this from Powers and Dylan Bass?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So my diary for May is obviously chock-a-block. June is pretty much nearly full as well. So we have a number of different events. We've actually we're rebuilding our Whiskey Club website. So Whiskey Club will be our main kind of platform for people to come and learn about our brands and see what we're doing. So what I would say to do is over the next few weeks, get onto the website. It's not the current version, the new version isn't live yet, but we're going to have an events section on it. So basically anything that's happening, any events that are coming up, all the information, how to get tickets, etc., timings will all be up there. But yeah, no, like I said, this is what we like doing. We like getting on the ground and putting our whiskey in front of people. So yeah, expect a lot more of this over the next few months.
And the website is
www.whiskeyclub.com.
www.whiskeyclub.com. Now, Joe, I happen to see on your social media there's a down in Taylor's in Galway. I haven't been down that way in a long time. A gable, you've got a mural done on the gable end of a building. Justin's going to bring it up here. That looks sharp. That looks nice, colourful, bright. That looks lovely.
Yeah, vibrant.
It definitely does. It's nice to see all these gable wall paintings and stuff coming up because it kind of reminds me of the Cathedral Quarter in Belfast. The village actors. So yeah, I've seen that on your social media and I thought it looked really good.
Yeah, there's some great. We've done some work up here locally as well recently. Like some fantastic murals. If you're ever in around White's Tavern, get a good look around there. In some of the outside and then even the inside as well.
Yeah.
Got a local artist, Danny Simpson. She's done some absolutely beautiful murals. And then one of my favourites, outside the Jeggy Nettle. I don't know if you've seen it. The Friends, Dogs, and Whiskey, big massive bars mural looks absolutely class.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I bought a couple of Danny Simpson stuff to give as gifts there a while ago. She's
very good, yeah.
Oh, she's fantastic. Lovely girl to talk to as well. I mean, really, really pleasant and affable. So, yes, Joe, the Power X events, you can get the tickets are on Eventbrite, I believe.
Yeah, most of them will be on Eventbrite. So if you go to the Powers Whiskey and I website, you can have a look. I will say some of them have been sold out. There are tickets still available for a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely go on there and have a look. And if you can, definitely get a ticket, get down there, get chatting to me, get some whiskey. It'll be good crack, I promise.
Yeah, it will be. I've been to a couple of events with Joe at them, and they're always good. It's a miracle he doesn't get his beard, his resplendent beard, stuck in the cream when he's making the cream.
Oh, you'll never see me drinking Irish coffee in public.
That's why I don't have a beard, so as I can eat without getting it on my face. I still get it on my face.
Certain foods and drinks with a beard like this, you just can't eat in public. Unfortunately, Irish coffee. Give me a straw, maybe,
Possibly. Joe, great catch up with you, buddy. You stay safe and
yes.
We'll see you again soon.
You two guys, good seeing you.
Cheers. What do you make of that, Marty?
Mate, you've got much louder since the last time I spoke to you.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Yes. Why is that? Anyway,
no idea. Weird.
It's weird. But no, it was good to catch up with Joe. And it's great to start seeing these events starting to happen again. He's doing stuff. Everybody's starting to move out. They're hosting whiskey events and new product launches where they actually bring you down and say, come on in and try, have a week. It's brilliant. Thank God to get some normality back again,
Well, I was going to say something there. Hans Sloane, didn't we go on a tour about Hans Sloane and the British Museum?
We did.
And it was as boring as him. It was so boring.
Oh, it was crap. Pure crap. They have all this wonderful stuff to show you. And I do appreciate the fact that people want to point out some of the aspects of how this all came to be, right? I appreciate that. But make it a minute or two. And you're here to learn some stuff and to show you some stuff. But whenever it's like, we're dead sorry about Hans Sloane giving all this stuff over, and it was 300 years ago and they had all this. It's like, oh, Christ. We listened to it for about 15 minutes and then thought, that's the way we went.
It'd have been better giving you free chocolate, wouldn't it?
Oh, much better. Much better. Anyway, right. This is a bit. I was thinking about this earlier on. I have a fairly healthy collection of whiskey, as you well know, Justin, right? I have a decent collection of whiskey. I have stuff all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day I was sitting around, well, tell you what, it was about 2 weeks ago. And I was sitting around here and I thought, Christ, I have some shit in that. And the reason I've come up with a theory, right? The more stuff you buy, because you'll always buy stuff just to try. And when you're going around and you go, well, it's only 20 quid. We'll have a go. We'll try it. We'll try that. And you bring it home and it's bloody awful. Well, you end up pushing it to the max. And what happens is you get some good stuff and you drink all that. And there must be a sort of ratio where it's like, I need to do the mathematics. I need to get Rachel Riley off Countdown and do the mathematics of this. But there's a ratio of good stuff that you can drink, and shite, right? Rubbish.
Okay.
And you end up, but over a period of time, the crap outweighs all the other stuff. Now, what I mean, right, obviously this is not, I want to pour myself one of these. You're with me? Because it is tough and lovely.
Do you have any of that sherry that you happened to pick up in the vineyard that was like dusty old bottle and it was fabulous? Do you remember that sherry?
Oh yeah, the Amontillado one. No, I don't have that. See, that all get killed too, Justin. That all get killed because it's tasty and you end up drinking it all.
Yeah.
So what you end up keeping is, well, now don't criticise me because there's lots out of this, because what happens is I let people try this whenever they're drunk. Don't tell the exorcist, but he used to get a lot of this. You buy this to try it. It's bloody awful, you know.
Yes.
So it takes up space.
So basically, they were trying to jump on the bandwagon of the Crown Royal Peach, which was good, and it's not good. Yeah.
No, that's bloody awful. Let me think. That's chuffing awful too. That's crap.
Right.
I mean, again, Lovett. I mean, it's sweet and tropical notes. That's how much I've drunk out of it, and that's been in there about 2 years. Let me think now. Let me think. Just set that down.
Proper 12. Okay, right.
It's bloody awful. The likes of this, people buy you this stuff, and this is a Filipino light brandy blend.
Right. Okay. Bit weird. So, what can you do with stuff like that?
Well, there's only really one option. At some point, you either chuck it down the sink or drink it. But I'll go on here a minute, because you end up buying the likes of this Ray and Nephew Overproof Rum. Now,
Right.
I know this is for cocktails, but it's 63%. Sorry, 63%.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's awful. I mean, this is designed basically to blow the head off you. That's all this is for. This is designed to give you an absolute stinker of a hangover.
There's Tony saying an infinity bottle. Now, this isn't about an infinity bottle. This show, we've done the infinity bottle show.
Yeah, but what Tony's reckoning is you can blend this into your infinity bottle. But my infinity bottle is a little bit different than everybody else's, Tony. I know lots of people have their infinity bottles, but my infinity bottle is about putting memories into the bottle. I have a diary that I put down. That bottle was bought to me by my Aunt Frances. That bottle was bought for me by such and such, and that's why I would put it in. And so my infinity bottle is a little bit different than maybe other people's are, because we talked about this before. Unless you absolutely kill the bottle, there's always a little bit of what you put in it going to be there. So it'll be a couple of molecules per trillion. It's still going to be there. That's the point. All right, Ross, I used to give that stuff away to my wonderful neighbour, who's just like an alcohol vacuum cleaner.
But we do like him, but he just likes alcohol.
Oh, he's 75 and bloody hell.
But listen, you can't just you don't like cocktails, so you're not going to use them for mixers, Marty, are you? You're not.
I mean, that's not great in any way, shape, or form. I'm a big fan of the Pugs, but you buy it. Oh, I'll give it a try. That's piss all out of that. This is cheap. It's bloody awful. Not good. This is a bottle. This is a bottle of the real poachine. This is the real stuff. It's bloody awful. See, people that tell you that some mild boy with a jerry can and a milk churn can make better poachine than the likes of Brendan or Bailick or whoever. They're talking crap. They can't. This is like something you would use to power a tilly lamp. You know what I mean? It's bloody awful. What else is there?
Mark says, give them to me. Mark's thinking of starting an infinity bottle, a peated infinity bottle. He's never puts peat in his main infinity bottle.
Two separate ones. Don't be doing putting any peat into your infinity bottle unless it's a peated infinity bottle. Because it's one of the reasons Scotch whisky became so popular after Prohibition, because they really put, they've a dozen casks of sort of cheap spirit, and really put one cask of Lafroig in it. It all tasted like Lafroig. It all tasted peated because it's just so potent. And yeah.
And there's Russ Bishop saying we don't like Japanese whiskey.
I do like Japanese whiskey up to a point. and there's a reason for that. What I mean by that is lots of the Japanese whiskies that are being sold, well, we all know they're not actually Japanese whiskies. They're sort of cheap Scotch stuff that's been sent over and put in blends and stuff. And also, Japanese whiskey does tend to be quite pricey. So the good stuff is much more expensive. And if you're going to sort of do impulse buys, Japanese doesn't tend to be impulse buys, you know.
Peter Stewart said, you must have a bottle of 12 somewhere. He did. He brought it on screen for a millisecond because he didn't want you to see it. There it is. There. Look at that there. Like,
it's green because it makes you feel sick. It's bloody off. I gave that to a girl a few weeks ago who knows her whiskey. She knows what she likes. And she says, I've never tried that. Try that. And this is the way she does it. And you know this woman very well. She gets it like this. She says, always like you warm my whiskey for a wee minute. She goes, yes. She says, it doesn't smell a huge amount. It's not too bad. She goes like that. Is that bloody awful? I says, yep, you used to work up there. She worked up in Bushmills. Yeah. I says, it's vile. Mm-hmm. And then this is one of my... There's two whiskies from big producers that for the life of me, I can't understand why they produce it, why they send them out. Number one is this Grant's Signature. It's just awful. I mean, I wouldn't use that to light the fire with. That's the truth. And then the other one is the Glen Lovett Family Reserve. It's chuffing awful. And you get it in all the supermarkets and stuff. And it's cheap. But, I mean, in all seriousness, you end up, and I probably could have left out another 10 bottles there. So I've got a plan. This is how we're going to alleviate the situation, right? I've got lots of good stuff that I'm kind of reluctant to do bottle kills on. Mm-hmm. Okay? So I've made a pact with myself. What I'm going to do is, if I decide to bottle kill one of my good stuff, something that I like, I then have to bottle kill one of the shitty ones. So what I'm going to do is trade them off against each other. Now, the shitty one, because I'm from Ballymena, I know the value of £1. Never found a 50p that could come out of my pocket of its own accord. Right? And I don't want to waste it. So what I'm going to do is, over the next while, if I take good stuff, looking at some of the Bushmills and you know, Waterford and JJ Corey and stuff, if I bottle kill some of them, I'm going to hate sacrifice one of these. So I'm going to have a nice night, shitty night. That's kind of what I'm going to do. I've decided.
Peter says Bowie Firkin and put it all in it.
To be honest with you, Peter, some of that stuff that's there would probably burn through the wood of the Firkin. That's the truth. I mean, some of them's just dire.
I just noticed when I changed the shape of the picture there, you've got a lovely bunch of bluebells on your yeah.
This place down here this year is covered in bluebells, and they're stunning.
Bluebells everywhere. Why is that? Everywhere this year. And
there's more flies this year than ever. See, we're doing buses and stuff.
Yeah, loads of flies everywhere.
We were coming down down past Loch Ness last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. And I thought, so there's air coming in that door. It was actually the amount of flies hitting the front of the thing. There's loads of them. Mm-hmm. This is good signs, Justin. This is good sign for stuff. But there's loads of bluebells down here. So I picked these today. And I might press them. I like doing all that kind of stuff. I like having them. Nice.
Here's what Trevor Watson does. He says he's a bottle of 3 ships, and he only takes us out when we start a tasting, and then it can only get better.
well, the thing is, it's always a good way. Some people will tell you is to take a little measure of a shitty whiskey to start with, and then you'll appreciate the good stuff better. So I'm going to try that and see how we go on with that. However, there's some of that stuff I couldn't drink until I was drunk. That's the truth. So what we'll do is we might invite a few friends round. We'll dish out a couple of decent ones, and then we'll unleash the crap, and maybe take a lot. Or I might take a run into The Exorcist and say, "Oh, it's all right if I stay over tonight." Dead on. Here, brought a bottle for you. I'll take this bottle of your Glenmorangie or whatever. It's not hibiscus flavoured crap. No, what I'll do is I'll take that off the shelf. Say, you drink away. No, don't worry. No need to thank me. No need to thank me at all.
But there's lots of alternative things here to do with the bottles that are dragging out. Tony Sillett says, give it to in-laws and outlaws to get rid of them. That's a good idea, yes. Frank Heron says, at the price of fuel, I like the idea of putting it into Tilly lamp. I don't, because I like Tilly lamps. They're worth a couple of $100.
Well, but that's what I was talking about, that tasting at Jim Beam for £200. But again, with Fred Noah and his son. That's about the same price as, 3 litres of diesel?
Yeah, something like that. Shane Foley says, at the cost of fuel rising, you may be able to run the car heating off it. Maybe so. And there's Russ Bishop. He says, well, I should have said I prefer my Irish or my peated Scotch. Peated is what I got introduced to, and I liked it. Yeah. Listen, my sister said she liked peated Irish whiskey. That's because she knows that, I have 75 quid bottles sitting in my drinks cabinet that she fancies.
But like this, my fiance, when she first told me I love big, heavy peated Ardbegs, Lafroigs, and so on and so forth, I thought, you're a hell of a girl. You're a hell of a girl. And that's you like what you like, and that's what you set yourself out for, And Joseph Cracker.
Joseph Cracker is saying, home of Walsh's distilleries and scumbags. Carlo. Oh, yes, Carlo's the place you go to on the way through to Kilkenny. Yes, I know that, Joseph.
Oh, no.
Don't start. Russ Bishop is saying we finally got spring in Ontario, Canada. Flowers everywhere. Yeah. It's like San Francisco. She wore flowers in her hair everywhere.
I was over at a mate's house there before I come over. Before I come back here, I had a meet and greet. I had to go and meet a couple of people and say hello and show them their hotel and stuff earlier on. And I come up round, went to a friend's house, had a quick beer. And our problem over here is we have the midgie. We have nothing in Ireland that's going to hurt you. We have, in Canada, you've got fucking grizzly bears and wolverines and stuff that'll jump out. In Texas, they've got them snakes that'll bite you and kill you to death. All over the world, you've all that stuff. In Ireland, we've got nothing other than the most annoying thing in the world. It's midgies. And you end up doing this. They're horrid things. So, we're getting ate by midgies.
And Peter Stewart come up with the best one tonight, what to do with your dry gains. Play different music at each tasting. Yes, here, listen, there's method in the madness there, although it's a brand of whiskey. Why don't you play music that makes the whiskey taste different? That might work.
Well, we'll put it like this. All I would say, to try and make that crap taste good, or that crap taste good, Beethoven couldn't compose something to make them taste better. That's the truth. They're both shit. Maybe at a push, if I listen to a couple of Pogue songs, it might be all right. With that.
Very
Shane McGowan is an absolute legend. But it's
going to say hi to a few people who've tuned in. Haven't seen you tune in for a while. Gerhard Retief, greetings to you. And well, it just gets funnier and funnier. Peter Stewart says, "Kill you to death."
Who won the Eurovision, by the way? Who won Nottingham Forest won their playoff match today, so that was all right.
I am going to watch the Eurovision, so don't spoil it for me. Don't let me know who won. Jordy Burke saying hello from Prince Edward Island. Hello. And Rush Bishop is saying in Canada, where he is, there is foxes, skunks, and squirrels. There's no bears where he is. But do the bears know that, Russ? Do the bears know that?
No. You can't be sure, Russ. You can't be sure, buddy.
Can't be sure.
Polar bears swim across over Canada and all that stuff.
Yeah.
No, all right.
Yeah.
We have no snakes or nothing. No spiders, scorpions. We don't have hurricanes, earthquakes, nothing. You don't have. It's the safest place on earth. The only thing you have to worry about is the people, but they tend to be all right. Most of the time. Most of the time. Yeah.
Great show tonight, Marty. Absolutely great show tonight. Thanks everybody for watching.
I've been saying the lurgy all week.
Yeah.
And
theme tune from
Suicide is Painless. That's the theme tune from.
Yes, I know.
Honestly, if you're out there and you think Proper 12 is a good Irish whiskey, my advice would be have a listen to the theme tune from MASH. and stop drinking it. Go and drink. Go. Spend $5 more and buy something.
Like a vodka.
No, buy something much better.
A gin, a rum.
Anybody, if you have rubbishy whiskies, let us know for next week, and we might come up with a plan of some description of how we can get rid of this crap. You know, but I mean, there's hundreds of pounds worth of stuff here, so I'm for Ballymena. We don't get rid of pounds worth of stuff, right? So, if you've crappy whiskey, let us know, and we'll get back. We'll try and figure something out. It's not diluting it with Red Bull, by the way.
Was it St. Patrick who drove all the snakes out of Ireland? He didn't do a very good job, because I've seen little snakes, rasps and adders in the grass. So,
we'll put it like this. Do you know where that myth come from, Justin?
It was a pseudo-sexual comment, was it? No,
that in your head it was. No, you know Celtic art, all that serpentine over thing. He absorbed that into Christianity, and that was where that.
Oh, it's because he did the paganism into Christianity. All right, to get everybody converted to remote control. Yes, yes. Great show. Yeah, thanks again, Trevor. Good night. God bless.
Listen.
And stand by. Next, the results from the Jury Belgique. Nul point.
Wyoming, nul point. Or sorry, what it should say is Boris Johnson, no point.
Bonsoir, Bernard Snochter. Night, night,
All
night,
the
night.
best.
All
Take
the
care.
best. Night,
Thank
night.
you
Bye,
for
bye.
watching.